Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have to take and inspect this thing and get some diagramming done because we were going to take and give this thing a short power up and see if she was doing anything. But I'm guessing this thing had a problem in the past and it went to a shop. And the shop was one of those hurry up and get it out of here kind of things, because we haven't got time to fool around. So consequently, when they got it and investigated and found that some of the caps were bad, and doesn't look like they. I can't find a modern resistor in here, so or at least more modern than the dog bones that are in here. So I did find that over here on that rear cap they have attached an 8 microfarad cap, and that's what that cap is, an 8 microfarad. That one there is supposed to be a 16 microfarad. They have modified that by tying into here to the center tap of the high voltage. They paralleled this off the 8 microfarad cap. This is an 8 microfarad replacement, and they just went to there for a ground. This is your line filtering cap. This one here, I'm not really sure. This is off the antenna, so something was up with that. I'm not really sure. That's the way I say we're going to have to go through and trace this out and see, because this one here was attached to something. It goes to this coil up here. I'm not really sure which coil that is. I'm guessing that might be, well, there's 3 coils here. There can only be an antenna coil, shortwave coil, or a broadcast coil, as well as anything else in there. So this is disconnected for some reason. It may be that one band is just dead. Somebody probably said, well, I'm never going to use that because there's nothing there. So they left it undone. So we got to investigate that. There was something here, but now there isn't. So it's got a cloaking device. And I'm sure there's something up with that. It may go to here. I don't know. It looks like they tied wire together here like they did here and like they did here, and they just figured, well, I'm just going to remove that because they're not never going to use it. They'll just tie a pigtail onto the antenna lug and let it dangle and pick up their stations that way. So back over in here, I was noticing there is I don't know if that's an original, it might be, but they added this one in, this solar, and they left this thing sticking out. So they dead-ended that, or they abandoned it, and this is what took over, because it goes to the same lug. I don't see any other real major problems. This is a 4 microfarad E-cap. It looks like it's still in original condition. That looks like a fresh solder joint there. I'm not really sure if it's just a clean point or what. But anyway, we're not going to power this thing up. We're going to, since we got to do an investigation here and double check everything and make sure everything is copacetic, we're going to go through and do a line by line checkout on this to find out why these things are loose and where they go, and why over here, because they clipped this lead off of that 16 and tied something else to it, and it runs over here. It shows this here, but I find one resistor. There's supposed to be two 18 ohm resistors in series here to ground. This is that filter cap. No, well, it is a filter cap, but it's that 16 microfarad, and it comes off the center thing, and which that does, and it runs over here to this 18 ohm resistor. But I don't see the other one unless they put it somewhere else, but I can't imagine why they would do that when this is the point where it needs to connect to. So that may have been a modification. I don't know why it would be missing. I want to double check this lead over here and make sure that that is in fact just an abandoned one. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And then this coil. Problem is, the riders and the Beatmans, I don't know, I have to double check the Beatmans. The riders, it's got a nomenclature for, fortunately, they did give you a number and a value for each component that is in here. But like the L3, L4, L5, L2, L6, L7, Abishevada, Boobada, Bleebada, Bombashuti Village. It doesn't tell you what those are. Now, a person who is a lot more educated than I am could probably say, "Oh well, that's an oscillator. Oh well, that's an antenna coil. Oh, that's a blah 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 blah." The only place that I can find any information regarding all the parts for this chassis is on the end right there, where they stuck that label on there. You'll be able to see it in prior video to this, the intro video. So I'm going to recreate this label anyway, and we're going to stick it in the cabinet and not on the chassis. And we're going to find out what all these components really are. L2, L4, L6, L blah 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 blah. And we're just going to go through it and double check it. While we're doing that and doing the tracings and stuff, we're going to go in and do the caps at the same time. So that way we're going to start with a fresh slate, and everything is going to be on the even, Steven, and that way I'll know that there ain't no loose ends in here that could possibly go wrong. Boy, that's a major undertaking for that triple section range switch. That is going to be major because they went through and they mounted those coils. I mean, it looks like they're fastened with screws to the chassis, but down here they went directly. Some of these look like they're direct soldered to the. They may not be, but I'll have to check and make sure of that, because it's going to be too easy to screw up these coils if something goes wrong. So I may have to do a dodgeball on that. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start in on that. So you might not get a video for a while. So I talked your ears off enough, and we're going to go through and make sure that we get our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and we'll give you as much information as we can on this, because this is a really nice set, and I want to do it right. So stay tuned for more.